Have you ever wondered why the harder you try to change your life, the more you seem to stay exactly where you are? Why does that voice in your head keep whispering doubts every time you're about to take a leap forward? Here's the uncomfortable truth most people never realize. Your own brain is sabotaging you, not because it hates you, but because it was never designed to help you thrive. It was designed to keep you safe, comfortable, and small. Think about it for a moment. Every single time you've attempted something that truly matters to you, starting that business, having that difficult conversation, waking up early to work on your dreams, there's always that instant where everything inside you screams to stop. Leave it for tomorrow, it says. You're not ready yet. Has this ever happened to you? Of course it has. We've all been there, caught in this invisible war between who we want to become and who our primitive brain thinks we should remain. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Now, what if I told you that this internal battle isn't just psychological, it's actually neurological, and even more fascinating, it's energetic. The legendary psychologist Carl Jung spent decades exploring something extraordinary, the idea that what we call reality isn't some fixed external thing happening to us. Instead, Jung proposed that our external world is actually a projection of what he called the neuronal field, an invisible web of thoughts, emotions, and beliefs that quite literally shapes the reality we experience. Stay with me here, because this changes everything. This means that when you're vibrating at a low frequency, dominated by fear, doubt, and scarcity thinking, your brain doesn't just feel bad, it actively creates blockages and resistance that prevent you from manifesting what you desire. Your neuronal field becomes dense, heavy, contracted, and the universe responding to that frequency mirrors it right back to you. You get more situations that confirm your fears, more evidence that you're not good enough, more reasons to stay exactly where you are. But here's where it gets powerful. If reality is a projection of your neuronal field, then changing your external circumstances isn't about working harder or getting lucky. It's about forcing your mind to vibrate at a higher frequency. What you're about to discover might surprise you, because we're not talking about positive thinking or empty affirmations. We're talking about practical, science-backed techniques that literally reprogram your brain to obey your highest vision instead of your deepest fears. The question isn't whether you can manifest the life you want. The question is, are you ready to stop being a prisoner of your own survival programming and become the architect of your reality? Because once you understand how to raise your vibration and align your neuronal field with your desires, the transformation begins when you grasp this fundamental truth. You're not living in a concrete, unchangeable reality. Carl Jung dared to challenge everything we thought we knew about the world, proposing something radical. That reality itself is a malleable field, an information matrix that bends and shapes itself according to the consciousness observing it. This isn't mysticism or wishful thinking. This is about understanding that two people can walk through the exact same situation and have completely opposite experiences. One sees opportunity, the other sees impossibility. One feels energized, the other feels drained. The difference isn't in what happened, it's in the vibrational frequency of the mind interpreting what happened. This revelation changes the entire game. It means that every decision you make, every thought pattern you reinforce, every emotion you allow to dominate your inner world is literally sculpting the external reality you experience. You're not a passive observer watching life unfold. You're an active participant in a constant creative process. Whether you realize it or not, the hidden truth is that most people never tap into this power because they're operating from the wrong part of their brain entirely. Now, I want to go even deeper into this because here's where the real battle lives. Your brain, in its most primitive form, has zero interest in your dreams, your purpose, or your potential. Its singular mission is survival. And to your ancient brain, survival doesn't mean thriving. It means staying exactly where you are, in the predictable, the comfortable, the known. This is why you can wake up on a Monday morning full of determination, promising yourself that today is the day everything changes, and by Tuesday afternoon, you're right back in. The same patterns. It's not weakness, it's not laziness, it's your survival brain doing exactly what it was programmed to do millions of years ago. The impact of this mechanism is profound. That voice telling you to scroll social media instead of working on your project. That's your brain seeking the dopamine hit of the familiar. That feeling of heaviness when you think about making a difficult phone call. That's your brain interpreting social risk as physical danger. That overwhelming urge to hit snooze when your alarm goes off. That's your primitive brain choosing immediate comfort over delayed growth. Every single excuse you've ever made, every procrastination, every "I'll start tomorrow," these aren't character flaws. They're sophisticated defense mechanisms your brain has developed to keep you in the invisible prison of your own comfort zone. But here's the journey we're on together. Once you understand that your brain is creating these barriers not because you're broken, but because you're biological, you can start using that knowledge as leverage. You can begin to recognize the voice of limitation for what it really is. An outdated survival program that no longer serves your highest evolution. Write in the comments, "I see the pattern now," if this is starting to click for you, because what comes next is where we learn to break free from this cycle completely and reclaim control over the very neuronal field that's been holding you back. And this is where most personal development advice gets it completely wrong. They tell you to avoid pain, to make yourself comfortable, to take it easy on yourself. But the hidden truth behind every major transformation in human history, behind every breakthrough moment in someone's journey is this: pain isn't the enemy, pain is the doorway. Think about the last time you felt truly uncomfortable. Maybe it was having a difficult conversation. Maybe it was pushing yourself physically beyond what felt possible. Maybe it was sitting with anxiety instead of reaching for a distraction. In that moment, every fiber of your being wanted to escape. Your heart raced, your mind screamed warnings, your body tensed up. But here's what Carl Jung understood that changes everything. That sensation you interpret as danger is actually energy. Pure, raw energy that can either paralyze you or propel you forward, depending entirely on how you choose to read the signal. If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. I create content like this to give you real tools, not just inspiration that fades by tomorrow. When you reframe discomfort as information rather than threat, something remarkable happens in your consciousness. That nervous feeling before public speaking transforms from "I'm going to fail" to "my system is preparing me for peak performance." That resistance you feel when starting a challenging project shifts from "this is too hard" to "this is exactly where my growth lives." The impact of this mindset shift isn't subtle, it's seismic. You stop running from the very experiences that would elevate you and start running toward them, understanding that every moment of discomfort is your neuronal field expanding to hold a higher frequency version of yourself. But knowing this intellectually and actually doing it are two completely different things, and this is where the real revelation comes in. There's a tiny window of opportunity between the moment you feel resistance and the moment your survival brain takes over completely. We're talking seconds. In those precious few seconds, you have a choice. Most people spend that time thinking, analyzing, weighing pros and cons. And by the time they're done deliberating, the window has closed and the excuses have arrived. The defense mechanisms have activated. The comfort zone has reasserted itself. Here's the weapon that breaks this cycle, the 3-second rule. The instant you feel resistance towards something you know you should do, you count backward, 3, 2, 1, and you move. Not think, not plan, not prepare, move. This technique is devastatingly simple and absurdly powerful because it completely bypasses your brain's protective circuitry. You're not giving your mind time to construct the elaborate story about why you should wait, why now isn't the right time, why you're not ready. You're creating a direct bridge from decision to action, and in that movement, everything shifts. Energy flows, hesitation dies. Your vibration rises because you've just proven to yourself that you're in control, not your fear. Drop in the comments, "I choose action," if you're ready to start using this, because what we're building toward here is the complete reconstruction of how you operate at the deepest level. Because here's what separates people who talk about change from people who actually transform: discipline. And I'm not talking about the white-knuckle, force yourself through misery kind of discipline. I'm talking about something far more strategic and powerful. Carl Jung understood that the neuronal field responds to repetition. Every single time you repeat an action, you're etching a pattern deeper into the fabric of your consciousness. You're quite literally programming your reality through consistency. This is why small rituals of intentional discomfort are so transformative. When you step into a cold shower every morning, you're not just waking yourself up. You're teaching your brain that you make the decisions, not your comfort-seeking impulses. When you commit to daily movement, even when everything in you wants to stay still, you're reinforcing a warrior identity. When you sit in meditation despite your mind's resistance, you're proving to yourself that you control where your attention goes. These aren't just healthy habits, they're declarations of sovereignty over your own nervous system. The beauty of this approach is that these small battles compound. Each time you choose discomfort over ease, discipline over default, you weaken the survival programming that's been running your life on autopilot. And eventually, something remarkable happens. Action stops being this monumental effort that requires constant motivation and self-convincing. It becomes who you are. The identity shift is complete. You're no longer someone who tries to be disciplined. You're someone who simply acts because that's what you do. But even with all this understanding, with all these tools and techniques, there's still a fundamental misconception that trips people up. They think manifestation is about doing the right things, saying affirmations, visualizing outcomes, taking inspired action. And yes, those things matter, but they're missing the deeper truth that exists behind the scenes of every successful manifestation. You can't manifest from a state of lack and expect abundance. You can't vibrate at the frequency of fear and attract confidence. You can't be one person internally and expect to experience a completely different reality externally. Manifestation isn't a technique you apply. It's a state of being you embody. When your thoughts, emotions, and energy are in complete alignment, when there's no internal conflict between what you say you want and how you actually feel, your neuronal field becomes crystal clear. It projects a consistent frequency out into the world, and the universe, which responds to vibration rather than wishes, mirrors that frequency right back to you. This is why someone who genuinely feels abundant, who moves through the world with gratitude and confidence, naturally attracts opportunities that confirm that state. They're not working harder, they're vibrating differently. The revelation here is profound. You don't chase what you want. You become the frequency of what you want, and it comes to you. Put "I am becoming" in the comments if this is resonating, because what we're moving into now is how to actually embody this state in a way that makes manifestation inevitable, not just hopeful. And this is where the journey gets truly extraordinary. The version of you that already has what you desire, that confident, abundant, purposeful version, exists right now. Not in some distant future you need to reach, but as a frequency you can embody in this present moment. Carl Jung discovered something that modern neuroscience is only now beginning to validate. Your brain cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one, as long as the emotion is intense enough. This means that when you feel the gratitude of already having achieved your goal, when you embody the confidence of someone who's already successful, when you move through your day with the certainty of someone whose life is already transformed, your neuronal field accepts this as reality. It doesn't question whether it's true yet. It simply responds to the signal you're broadcasting. And once that signal is consistent, once you've truly stepped into that identity, your perception shifts. You start noticing opportunities you were blind to before. Your behavior naturally aligns with this new version of yourself. Decisions that once felt impossible become obvious. And slowly, inevitably, reality reorganizes itself to match the frequency you're holding. The hidden truth is that you're not becoming someone new. You're removing the layers of conditioning, fear, and false identity that have been covering up who you've always been. Capable of being. Every limiting belief you release, every moment of discomfort you push through, every time you act despite the resistance. You're not building something from scratch. You're excavating the most powerful version of yourself that's been buried under years of survival programming. But here's where most people stumble. They understand all of this intellectually. They nod along. They feel inspired. They genuinely believe it could work. And then they close the video, return to their regular life, and nothing changes. Because understanding without action is just entertainment. The transformation you're seeking, the life you're envisioning, the manifestation you're hoping for, none of it exists in the realm of thinking about it. It only exists in the doing. If this video shifted something for you, leave a like. It helps more people find this content and lets me know we're connecting. Your mind will keep offering you the same deal it's always offered. Comfort now, progress later. Tomorrow seems so reasonable. Next week feels so much more prepared. But that's the trap. Motivation doesn't create action. Action creates motivation. The energy you're waiting to feel before you start only appears after you've already begun moving. This is the ultimate paradox of transformation. You have to become the person before you feel ready to become that person. You have to act like them, think like them, choose like them, even while every cell in your body is screaming that you are not there yet. Leave "I'm ready now" in the comments if something inside you is recognizing this truth, because what happens when you actually implement all of this, when you stop waiting and start becoming, is where everything you've learned here stops being theory and becomes your lived experience. That's the shift. That's the moment your neuronal field recognizes the new frequency and starts projecting it back to you in tangible, undeniable ways. If you've made it this far, you're not here by accident. Something in you is ready for this level of transformation, and I want to keep supporting you on this journey. So if this content resonated with you, if you felt something click into place while watching, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I create videos like this regularly because I believe in giving you real tools, not just inspiration that fades by tomorrow. This is about actually changing the game, and I want you here for every step of that process. And let me know you made it to the end by dropping "This message was meant for me" in the comments. I read through them, and it genuinely means something to see who's really committed to this path. We're building something here, a community of people who refuse to stay small, who choose growth over comfort, who understand that the power to transform has always been within them. If this video shifted something for you, go ahead and leave a like. It helps more people find this content, and honestly, it lets me know we're connecting on the right frequency. That matters. Now, there's a video right here that takes this even deeper. It's about the specific mindset shifts that accelerate manifestation in ways most people never discover. Click on it and continue with me over there. Let's keep this momentum going because you're just getting started, and what comes next is going to change how you see everything.